channel, you know that I love conspiracy theories, myths, and legends. And I like to give any story a chance, no matter how bizarre or strange it might seem. No scientist in the world will try to tell you that we've discovered every animal there is to find. In fact, just recently they discovered a giant rat in the Solomon Islands called the Bangunu giant rat, which everyone believed was just a myth that the locals told their children, only to discover that it was actually a very real, very alive creature, if not endangered. So despite how bizarre it seems, I'm going to give this story a fighting chance. The creature I'm going to be talking about today is called the Loveland Frog Man. And despite it seeming ridiculous, this story actually has quite a few twists. One night in Loveland, Ohio, a businessman was driving home from work. As he went under an underpass, he saw three mysterious figures. All of them appeared to be upright standing frogs. He described them as leathery, about 3 to 4 feet tall, standing upright like a man with webbed feet and hands. Their most distinct feature, however, he said was their frog-like heads and faces, which had deep grooves where their hair should have been. Obviously, he tried to leave as soon as possible, but as he was leaving, he claims that one of them raised what he could only describe as a wand, pointed it at him, and spewed sparks from the tip. Nearly 17 years after the report, a police officer was driving to Loveland, Ohio. He was driving slowly because he said that the road was icy and snowy and he wanted to be careful. He saw what he believed to be a stray dog huddled up on the corner, but as he passed it, it bolted in front of his car, and as it passed through his headlights, he saw something that shocked him. As it came into the headlights, he had to slam on his brakes to avoid hitting it. What he described was a frog-like creature, 3 to 4 feet tall. As it came by, it stared right at him, stood up on its hind legs, and scrambled over a guardrail into the river below. Another officer later went to investigate the scene. He found no evidence of the animal, but did find scratch marks on the railing where it was said to have scrambled over. 2 weeks later, police officer Mark Matthews claimed an encounter of his own. He said as he was driving down the street, he saw what appeared to be a dead animal lying in the road. He got out to investigate and move it out of the road so people wouldn't run over it. As he went to move the carcass, the animal leapt up to its feet. Surprised and shocked by its sudden movement, he pulled out his gun and shot it one time in the chest. He then said that the creature hobbled away over the guardrail and into the river. Years after these things happened, Officer Matthews went back on his own statement. In an interview, he claimed that what he had seen was only a large iguana. He also further claims that he only shot it to confirm his friend's story as to the frogman that he had seen previously. However, to me, not all of the details of his statement in the interview add up. In the interview, Officer Mark Matthews, now retired, explained that the incident was habitually blown out of proportion. He stated that it was and is no monster. It was not leathery or had wet matted fur. It was not 3 to 5 feet tall. It did not stand erect. The animal I saw was obviously some kind of lizard that someone had as a pet that either got too large for its aquarium, escaped by accident, or they simply got tired of it. It was less than 3 feet in length, ran across the road, and was probably blinded by my headlights. It presented no aggressive action. So let me just stop here and say, either this officer is hopelessly inept at his job, or he's hiding something. Does Loveland not have animal control? Is he some kind of sadist? What inspired him to shoot a lizard that was obviously just an escaped pet? From his own account, it presented no aggressive action. As for the legal precedent for when you are and aren't allowed to shoot a pet, it's only when it either poses a threat to you, to your property, or has behavior in the past which indicates that it will in the future present dangers to you or your property. Obviously, none of these things apply to this iguana, so if it really was a lizard, I'm sorry to say this is another case of police brutality. These guys are always out here harassing these iguanas, trying to frame them for crimes, and doing terrible things to them while they're just trying to live their lives. Help me stop police brutality against iguanas. 1 like equals 1 prayer. But seriously, if all he saw was a lizard, then why would he think that shooting this lizard and bringing it back would verify his friend's story of a frogman who stood upright, had no tail, and ran across the road and scrambled over a guardrail? Furthermore, if he planned to bring this back as evidence, why didn't he only shoot it once and then just watch it walk away instead of bringing it back to the police station? So many things about this story just don't add up, and I have trouble believing anything that Officer Matthews has said. More recently, a frogman was spotted in mid-August 2016 by Sam Jacobs and his girlfriend playing Pokemon Go in Cincinnati. Because Cincinnati is such a different location from that described in all of the other stories, to a lot of people this seems like an obvious hoax. To me, however, that actually makes it more credible. Because if I was going to be faking a story about a frogman, I would obviously want to go to Loveland, or at least say it was from Loveland, instead of coming up with some random city that wasn't where the original sightings were from. So to me, it seems that if they were really trying to fake it, they would have easily just said it was from Loveland. I've seen the footage, and it's so dark that you actually can't tell where it is. It would have been so easy for them to say, oh yeah, we were playing Pokemon Go in Loveland, Ohio. And in case you were wondering, here's the footage in the pictures. So in the end, I don't believe a word that Officer Matthews has said. I believe that he's hiding something. As for the other stories, some people have pointed out that they couldn't be true because there's no Native American lore in the area indicating any sort of frog-like mythical beings or anything like that. However, I have to point out that the 3 original Native American tribes that lived in Ohio were all chased off by either famine, disease, war with other tribes, or white settlers coming in. So, a good deal of their history and their culture has been lost. Additionally, Native American tribes are often very secretive with their culture because they don't want it to be Americanized or turned into stories, movies, or books. Is that evidence of the Frogman? Probably not. But maybe someday something will turn up, like the Vangunu giant rat, and we'll all see whether or not the Frogman was really real. For now, let me know what you think in the comments. I want to know what you think about Officer Matthews' story, and if you think there could be a Frogman living in Loveland, Ohio. Thanks for watching, I'll see you guys next time, and remember, say no to violence against iguanas.
I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell, I know, right now you can't tell, but stay a while and maybe then you'll see a different side of me. I'm not crazy, I'm just a little impaired, I know, right now you don't care, but soon enough you're gonna think of me and how I used to be.